Konnichiwa everyone, today we have got a really fun project in mind and we are going to make ourselves a tool. What we're going to make today is a Japanese marking gauge. Now I've heard these things be called a couple of different names. I've heard it be called a Kebiki, a Kashiki. I don't know the proper pronunciation or the proper term for it. Don't hold me to anything in concrete evidence, as I just enjoyed this stuff and I just think it's fun, so I'm not trying to be too serious with this, but let's get started. If you don't know what a marking gauge is, you got a blade on this side. This butts up against the edge of the wood that you're going to mark. Makes a very straight line that goes in line with the side of your wood. But provided your wood is square, you will have a very nice straight line with which to, mark. Alright, so before we can venture into the kingdom of scrap to find what we need, let's just take a quick measurement. This is an old guy that we're not going to use a whole lot anymore. We're pretty short. I wanted to get something that can at least do 7 inches or 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 is what I got that marked at. So we're going to throw that guy to the side. This is going to be our measurement. Now, we're going to embark on a little quest to the Kingdom of Scrap and see what we can discover. Well, ladies and jungle mitts, the kingdom provides. We have got some fantastic looking oak. Got some white oak, more white oak. Got a little, I think this is cherry. But this ought to work just fine. Oak is a fantastic wood to use for working, and get this, hardly cost me anything. So, summoning the power of my reliable old Wilton Shop King model, we are going to saw this sucker down. I know I've got wood and a metal vise, but guess what? I'm just having fun today. Ta-da! So a bit of a change of plan here. I've actually got enough wood from this and this that I could probably make this whole thing from one little bit. Wouldn't you know it? The Kingdom of Scrap definitely provides. There we have it. Progress comes in the form of shavings with woodworking. So we got our beam kind of planed down to what we need it to. A little thinner than normal, but still pretty darn rigid. So we're going to get a good result out of this, I hope. Now we're going to cut our little mortise. So it's basically just going to be a couple of little small holes through here. Then we're going to square it up. We'll see what happens. Alright, we made some progress here. Yeah. Whew. Now we're cooking. Alright, gotta clear this up just a little bit more. That really shouldn't be that tough to move, but we are getting there. Oh, progress is being made. Check this out. Still a little stiff, but we're getting there. Alright, so we have made enough progress here. We are going to try another test fit. I think we have just about got it. Oh yeah, check that out. That is almost as smooth as butter. Maybe if you made butter out of goats, it'd be something like this. So what's next? More sawing, of course. Who doesn't love sawing? And a weed eater outside my window. There we have it. I guess I'll just have to file this away. Yeah, bad joke of the day. Alright, we're in good shape. This guy is actually sized just right to fit in this little extra slot that we cut. Let's do some more cutting. Well, that happened. Not exactly sure how, but it basically split. Let's start over. So, with the advent of having to make a new little wedge lock for key slash thingy for this thing, I decided I'm actually going to enlarge it just a bit because it does seem a little bit small in comparison to the beam here. So we're going to bring this face up a little bit farther just to kind of widen that a bit. Alright, more progress has been made. We now have a new wedge key thing. I don't know what you call this thing. Just doing a little bit of filing, and then we're going to put this sucker together. Alright, so we've got our components. So, check out how this thing works. We have our beam here. I'm going to actually put a cutting blade on that. This will slide back and forth like so. But the key, this is the most important thing. Notice the taper. We'll slide into this little spot here, like so. We put our beam in like this. Now when the key is all the way this way, I can move the beam back and forth as I please. We'll move easier with wax later on, keep that in mind. And once I get the measurement I need, I simply push this side in, And the difference in the taper actually pushes this up against the wall here, which locks it in place, and therefore I can simply move it over what I need to. And that's essentially it. We're going to dress this guy up and then we're going to see what we got. So since this is going to be a hard use tool, I'm actually just going to round off these edges a bit so it's not, you know, destroying your palm whenever you're using it. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, these little Iwasaki super fine cut flat files are amazing. If you don't have one, get one. Smooth as butter. Alright, we are looking pretty good. Got a nice little comfy grip up there. Now, as much as I hate sanding, it is a necessary part of life, so we're going to sand up these couple parts, and then we're going to put it together, and then we'll see what we have, and I'm thinking we're going to have something really cool. Alright, so after that terrible experience of sanding, there's still one really important step we got to do, and that is my favorite step. Adding finish. So I realized I left out a very important step, and that is actually wedging the blade into the thingy-mabobber. You got your pokey bit right here, and this actually just needs to sit right on the edge, like so. So basically what I did was I took a little bit of some of my scrap oak, and I kind of cut a little round curve, which will fill up the other half of this hole that I cut here. And the reason I wanted to make it work this way is because I wanted to be able to change the blade. If I could actually talk, this would be a lot easier. I wanted to be able to change the blade with just a couple of whacks of the hammer or whatever, you know, it really doesn't matter exactly how you do it. As long as the blade cutting edge is held in there really tightly, that's all you're really after in this case. So the way I have mine set up to work, place your little extendo bit right here on some wood. You take your pokey bit right here and you basically put this guy into the wood ever so slightly so he holds himself up in one spot. Then you take your wedge-em-a-bobber, which you leave one side flat so it butts up against the blade. You put him in the hole here. Take yourself a little wooden hammer like so. Give it a couple of whacks, which basically should wedge your blade in the hole. And I've got just the very tip that's showing. Don't know if you can see that, but that should be enough to give me the marks that I need. That's how you do that. So if the proof is in the pudding, I'd say it's time to eat. So we got our key lock in. We put our arm in. Let's say we're going to make a little tiny focus. There we go. Say we're going to make a little tiny cut on this guy right about there. Let's lock it in place. Yeah. Don't lose our measurement first. Lock it in place like so. There we go. And now let's try it. Oh, yes, we have a line. Awesome. Man, success sure is great. So after all that work and all that fun stuff, this is what we're left with. We have a nice functional little tool. It looks cool, it will be reliable, and I'm sure it's going to last me a very long time. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Arigatou gozaimasu. Sayonara.